Today I'm looking to draft a pattern that evokes a certain magical movie moment. One that I've seen so many times and they're so burned into my mind that I feel the need to recreate it, minus the wetness. Let me explain what I mean. So here's the concept. We've all seen movies with a scene like this, or this. And there's a certain level of tension in those particular scenes. I really appreciate that tension, and I appreciate the attention to detail of the human form. I think it's beautiful, and I love how in these various scenes they're highlighted but also hidden. And I want to create a shirt that has that similar feeling. But I don't want to have to fall in a lake or get stuck in a rainstorm for that feeling to be there. So what I'm looking to create is something that's going to potentially highlight my figure, but also kind of protect it and shield it from open view. I really like this idea. I think it's something fun to play around with. I have sheer fabric left over from this project here, and I'm going to basically continue the process of creating what I'm calling my ultimate shirt. Now, just as kind of a recap, my ultimate shirt is all-encompassing, but some of the key things I want my ultimate shirt to have would be a sense of romance, femininity, playfulness, uniqueness. So today I'm going to work on modifying the shirt I've created thus far that I posted in my most recent video here, and I'm going to use the neckline from the chemise from the video here. Hopefully, between using sheer fabric, nailing the silhouette, and just creating something overall romantic, I will be able to approximate this magical movie moment that I'm looking to experience. So let's go. So I went ahead and drafted a pattern specifically for this shirt, and I combined two other patterns that I've used before. This pattern piece right here is going to be the front and the back, and I'm going to treat them differently. The front is going to have pin tucks while the back is going to have gathers, which is exactly like the chemise pattern that I got it from. I did crop it a tremendous amount, and I also modified it. I modified the sleeve here because the chemise pattern has a small cap sleeve, and I'm going to put kind of a big poofy sleeve You know me, I love my big poofy sleeves. So I'm gonna put that on this, and I needed to allow that extra space. And I also widened a few things and shortened a few things based on my knowledge of creating the chemise pattern just a couple weeks ago. Here's the sleeve pattern that I'm gonna use, and as you can see, it allows for an ample gather and large poof. And then we just have a couple other random pieces here. We have the cuff for the sleeve and the neckline. Now, I have given some thought as to how I want the bottom to be. Initially, I just wanted to have a band here like I did in the other shirt that I made, which I really do enjoy, but I don't think that I'm gonna have a true and genuine open front shirt with a button down. I think that I'll either have a couple buttons up top like I do on the chemise, or I'll continue that theme all the way down, but they're going to be fake. They're not gonna be real buttons that open and close the shirt. And I was kind of thinking that there is no way I'm gonna get a waistband that doesn't open over my head and shoulders. So I was a little concerned as to how I'm gonna handle the bottom, because I do want everything to kind of come in and cinch at my waist. And that's when I thought of elastic. I think I'm gonna create an elastic band that cinches me right at my natural waist and just kind of holds all those pieces in, creates a nice hourglass shape, and then I'm just gonna let the end almost hang down as if it's a ruffled fabric. So hopefully all of my guesswork will be accurate, and I will go ahead and put this together and see what it looks like. This is all just theoretical at this point. I'm not sure if it's gonna work out, but fingers crossed it looks cute when I'm done. Now, because I've had the pleasure of working with this really beautiful fabric before, I understand how it handles and I understand how I want to treat it. I've gone ahead and I've zigzagged all the edges, and while that is a bit tedious, it's so worth it because it's gonna make the garment last, and I really hope that this turns out and it can be a shirt that I cherish and wear for years to come. So zigzagging is crucial. The other thing I think I'm gonna do is small seam allowances. As you can see right here, this part is very thin. So by the time I add a collar and by the time I add the sleeves, there's gonna be literally about that much fabric left. And the seam allowances are just gonna have to be super tiny and basically right up along this zigzag edge. Instead of pressing my seams open, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and top stitch them to one side, basically holding the seam down, flat, compact, and give it a real nice finished look with that bit of top stitching. So right now I'm gonna jump into the pin tucks. I'm gonna show you how that process works. It's a pretty fun thing to do. It comes together quickly and it's really satisfying to watch. So let's do that. Okay, so here we have the front of the fabric laid out. Just gonna line this up. And since I have it on my bed, I think it's pretty easy to just pin it in place so it doesn't move around too much. So here are my pin tucks. We're basically gonna take this line and fold it over to that line and stitch. This line, fold it over to that line and stitch, and so on. I think I'm actually just gonna take my marker here. It's a washable marker meant for fabric applications like this. And I'm just gonna mark the very top. And because this pattern was cut on a fold, I'm gonna have to turn it over and reverse it and do the exact same thing to this other front side. Okay, let's remove the pins and see what we have. I'm definitely gonna find a pin in my bed tonight. I need to be careful. So let's make these two kiss. I mean, this is a romantic project. Let's stay in theme here. I love you too. Okay, it's getting weird, sorry. So here's the general outline of my pin tucks. First, I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna pin the other side over here. And I think I'm gonna have my pin tuck, I'm just gonna eyeball it and sew to about there. I think that's how I liked it on the chemise that I made. So we're gonna go for that again and see what happens. Okay, so far so good. I love this delicate fabric and I love all of these delicate little details. Now the front is supposed to have a button flap, and I honestly don't know how to do that. I remember I didn't know how to do it when I was sewing the chemise, and I don't know how to do it now. So I faked it. I just kind of folded the fabric over, made sure it was centered appropriately, stitched it down to where the pin tucks go, and then just sewed a couple buttons on at the end. I toyed around with the idea of having the buttons run down the full length of the shirt, but I think that's gonna get weird when I get to the point where it gathers. I also pretty much exclusively use very heavy brass buttons, and it might just be too overpowering for how delicate this fabric is. So I think a couple up top is gonna be enough, and I'm gonna work on that right now. Well, it's Mother's Day,
and I just got my period, and it got cold outside, and I don't feel like getting out of bed. I don't feel like doing much of anything, but I feel really behind on this project, and I am excited to film the reveal. I think the shirt turned out pretty cute, and I really want everybody to see it. So I'm gonna make myself get up, and I'm gonna brush my teeth, and I'm going to drag myself to some kind of beautiful location and hopefully capture a magical movie moment of my own. I'm really happy that I pushed myself to get out of bed this morning. I ended up having a super eventful, productive day. I spent time with my mom, and of course, I spent time with my girls. I put a lot of flowers in the ground. I did my very first beehive inspection, which was pretty intense, but really informative. And I just cannot believe it's only been 2 weeks with the bees, and they are building that much comb. Now I have to figure out what's honey, what's brood, what I'm looking at, but the whole thing has been such an amazing learning experience, so I will definitely create a separate video all about that. But with regards to the shirt, I love it. I haven't reviewed the reveal footage yet. Hopefully I got some good shots, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that I created a shirt that gives me a very romantic atmosphere and feeling, and it kind of hints at my silhouette. Maybe you see a little shape of under my bust line, maybe you can see the curve of my waist, and it just kind of teases you in all the right ways. So I feel like I accomplished my goal, and I can't wait to work this shirt into my regular wardrobe. I think it's gonna be perfect for long summer nights, beautiful days spent outdoors, maybe even a party. The neckline is a little too long. It kind of falls off the shoulders too easily, so note to self, next time I remake this shirt, I'm going to shorten that even more. The buttons somehow tend to always want to be a little off center over to the right, so there's some constant readjusting, or there's just not caring. Either or, I'm fine with both options because overall, I'm very pleased with the project and hopefully you liked it. So here we are at the end of another project, and if you've enjoyed the video, if you could like and subscribe, it means the world to me. I would love to focus on my channel more often, and your support is crucial for that. So until next time, bye!